What if I told you that the wisest man who ever lived, someone who literally had a mind like the sand on the seashore, still managed to lose everything? And what if the people closest to him, his trusted advisors and spiritual counselors, watched it all happen and never said a word? Today, we're uncovering one of history's greatest tragedies, how King Solomon went from extraordinary wisdom to catastrophic failure, and the deafening silence of the advisors who could have stopped it. These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. The legend of Solomon's wisdom. Let me start by showing you just how extraordinary Solomon really was. For sure, your whole body will tremble, your brain will explode, and you will definitely be blown away if you learn that when Solomon became king, God appeared to him in a dream and said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Think about that offer for a second. The creator of the universe is giving you a blank check. What would you ask for? Solomon's answer, recorded in 1 Kings 3:9, was remarkable. "Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." He didn't ask for wealth. He didn't ask for a long life. He didn't ask for the death of his enemies. He asked for wisdom to lead well. And God was so pleased with this request that he gave Solomon not only wisdom, but also what he had not asked for: riches and honor beyond measure. According to 1 Kings 4:29-30, God gave Solomon wisdom and very great insight and a breadth of understanding as measureless as the sand on the seashore. An unusual wisdom and insight and knowledge too great to be measured. Solomon's wisdom was greater than the wisdom of all the people of the East and greater than all the wisdom of Egypt. Let me break down what that actually looked like in practice. A mind beyond measure. The Bible tells us in 1 Kings 4:32-33 that Solomon spoke 3,000 proverbs and composed 1,005 songs. But it wasn't just about quantity, his knowledge was encyclopedic. He could teach you about trees, from the mighty cedars of Lebanon to the tiny hyssop plant growing out of walls. He knew about animals, birds, reptiles, and fish. He was essentially a one-man university covering botany, zoology, poetry, philosophy, and governance. According to 1 Kings 4:31, Solomon was wiser than legendary wise men like Ethan the Ezrahite, Heman, Calcol, and Darda. These were the rock stars of wisdom in the ancient world, and Solomon outshone them all. His fame spread to every surrounding nation. And here's what's incredible. 1 Kings 4:34 tells us that people of all nations came to listen to Solomon's wisdom, sent by all the kings of the world who had heard of his wisdom. Kings and ambassadors traveled from distant lands to hear him speak. That's the ancient equivalent of world leaders flying across continents to attend your TED Talk. A TED Talk is a brief, impactful presentation, usually 18 minutes or less, designed to share ideas worth spreading worldwide. TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. These talks cover a wide variety of topics, including science, business, global issues, personal growth, and storytelling. Power, wealth, and peace. Solomon's wisdom translated directly into unprecedented prosperity and power. First, God gave him something priceless: peace. According to 1 Kings 5:4, "The Lord my God has given me rest on every side, and there is no adversary or disaster." No enemies threatening the borders, no internal conflicts, no catastrophes, just pure, uninterrupted peace that allowed him to build and prosper. Solomon leveraged this peace brilliantly. He formed strategic alliances like his treaty with King Hiram of Tyre, which gave him access to the finest cedar and cypress wood for his building projects. 1 Kings 5 1-12 details this partnership. He organized his kingdom with precision, appointing 12 district governors who ensured smooth administration and regular provisions for the royal household, as described in 1 Kings 4:7-19. His wealth, according to 1 Kings 10:23, King Solomon was greater in riches and wisdom than all the other kings of the earth. His reputation attracted even more wealth, and ambassadors brought gifts and tribute from all over the world. This was a man at the absolute pinnacle of human achievement, God-given wisdom, unprecedented wealth, global fame, and complete peace. If anyone had it all together, it was Solomon. You may be missing out on good stories you didn't know you needed. You need good content, but you're not sure where to find it. Your time is gold. Do you want to waste it? If you don't listen to us, you won't have anything to impress your friends with at your next gathering. Solomon's dream team. And Solomon didn't rule alone. According to 1 Kings 4:1-19, he assembled an impressive cabinet of trusted advisors and officials. Azariah, son of Zadok, served as chief priest, Solomon's top spiritual advisor. Elihoreph and Ahijah handled all official correspondence as royal scribes. Jehoshaphat served as recorder, documenting everything. Benaiah commanded the army. Zadok and Abiathar served as priests. And here's a fascinating detail from 1 Kings 4:5. Zabud, son of Nathan, held the title priest and king's friend. That's right, Solomon had an official best friend and personal confidant on his staff, someone whose entire job was to provide close counsel. When Solomon died, 1 Kings 12:6 tells us his son Rehoboam consulted the elders who had served his father Solomon during his lifetime. So, these men were still around by then, still respected, still considered wise. So Solomon wasn't isolated. He had priests, commanders, administrators, and a personal confidant all within arm's reach. There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question. Is it true? The slow motion disaster, but then something went terribly wrong. Solomon began accumulating foreign wives, hundreds of them. The final count, according to 1 Kings 11:3, was 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. These weren't just romantic relationships. They were political marriages sealing alliances with neighboring nations. But here's the problem. God had explicitly forbidden these marriages. 1 Kings 11:1-2 couldn't be clearer. King Solomon, however, loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites. They were from nations about which the Lord had told the Israelites, "You must not intermarry with them, because they will surely turn your hearts after their gods." Nevertheless, Solomon held fast to them in love. Notice that word, nevertheless. Solomon knew God's command. He knew the warning. And he did it anyway. Despite all his wisdom, wealth, power, and God's warning, Solomon loved these women deeply. His strong affection for them eventually led him away from being faithful to God as he grew older. His love for his foreign wives was deep and real, which had serious spiritual effects on him and Israel. And exactly what God predicted would happen, happened. According to 1 Kings 11:4, as Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father had been. What happens when the wisest man on earth begins to drift away from the source of his wisdom? In Part 2, we will explore the pivotal moment when Solomon's story takes a darker turn, as well as the subsequent actions of his advisors. You won't want to miss how it all unfolds. If you found today's episode enlightening, the next one will challenge everything you thought you knew about success. The downfall of one of history's wisest men might reveal insights into your own path to success or failure. If wisdom alone couldn't save the wisest man, what hope do the rest of us have? Thank you for watching, and continue to ask the big questions.